lucha y con fe trabajando. Juan González, nombre que retumba. 10 años firme sin bajar la tumba. Hombre de casa, ejemplo en la vida. Su esposa y sus hijos son su guarida. Con la mirada firme y decidida, va dejando huella bien definida. Latino de sangre con corazón, formó a los guerreros en esta misión. Detail Warriors, puro profesional, puro detallador, listo para brillar. Viajo continente.
That might be the problem.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, turn that off. Hey there.
Yo, good day. Welcome to another episode of the RoadFS DetailBookie podcast. We have been having some technical difficulties.
We're upside down and backwards.
We're upside down, backwards, all kind of crazy things. It's just pandemonium on the podcast today. We're just super excited to be here with you guys. And look at that. I flipped
Just
it
like
right.
that.
Just like that. Jeremy, how are you today?
Great. Let's just tell the truth. We're just trying to build some suspense into starting the program this morning.
That's right. That's right.
Sometimes
Right. We're
do
gonna
that build up, right? So
we're gonna play it off.
Super excited.
We're gonna
For
play it
you
off like we
guys
had
that don't know,
technical
this is
difficulties.
Jeremy Harding. He
Yeah.
is the national sales manager of Nasiol. Nasiol. All right. I'm still trying to get the name in my head. So how are you today?
We're doing good. We're doing good. We were just coming off a nice high from SEMA. Believe it or not, I actually got home from that trip yesterday. Hard to believe that SEMA was in full swing a week ago today, but yeah, I've had some other things to do while we were out of town. So just got back yesterday.
Yeah, I was looking at your Facebook feed, and looked like you guys had a lot of people swing by your booth to learn about you guys' products and stuff. So what did you think of the show overall?
So I've been doing SEMA for a long time. I think we can all agree that the headcount seemed low this year. It didn't seem like there was as many people that were there. But not to sound cliche, I will tell you the engagement from the people that did attend was much higher. So we were able to have a lot more deep conversations, a lot of conversations that took longer than usual, but we had the ability to do that. And I think that was wildly more beneficial than having a lot of people in the booth for really quick chats and really quick meetings and not being able to make that connection. If I'm not mistaken, you guys may have stopped by the booth no? Okay.
No, we weren't there. This is the first year we haven't gone.
In like 8 years we
More
haven't
than that.
gone.
I mean, geez.
Okay, great. But yeah, I don't know if you've heard similar things, but SEMA was not as busy as it has been years past, but it was great for us. We had a great experience. We were able to connect with a lot of people. And I think that the benefits there far outweigh the foot traffic through the booth. The booth was busy. We were very busy, but the connections were deeper, and the relationship building, which is much more important, that happened at a much greater level.
Yeah, and that's really what you're wanting, right? I mean, we've been years past, and you're bumping shoulders as you're walking down the hall, and you're yelling at each other to have a conversation, and having a more meaningful engagement, more meaningful dialogue gives you the time, especially as a product and also as an attendee, to dig into what you guys really offer, the benefits of your thing. So let's talk about Nasiol and what you guys bring to the table.
Yeah, so Nasiol is definitely coming up. What we're doing here in the US to bring awareness to our products and our company, and how we can partner with you, that is improving a lot over the last 2 years. So, last year we didn't have great booth placement, so we opted out of SEMA, but we had been attending SEMA with a really beautiful booth since 22. 23 is when I joined the company, and we saw some massive differences in booth traffic and the conversations, the questions that we were being asked between 23 and 25. When I was first there in 23, a lot of people were saying, who are you guys? We haven't heard of you before. What's your kind of origin story? What makes you different? And this year it was, hey, we love your products. We've been using them for a while now. We tell all of our friends, we've had great experience with the products. Our customers love them. What else do you have new for new products coming out in 26? And so the tone has shifted a lot since that short period of time. So the recognition, the brand recognition is there, the product recognition and the performance, all of those things are now more known, and people are wanting to know what's next versus guys.
So for those that weren't at SEMA and aren't familiar with your coatings, what do you guys offer?
So we offer the fact that we are a research and development company primarily. Then we shifted directly into manufacturing. So we're one of the few companies that actually synthesize the raw materials. So we're considered an OEM. While we know that there's a lot of brands within the ceramic coating space, there's very few manufacturers. Manufacturer to us means, what we do. We synthesize the materials and we make the formulations from the ground up. So it's kind of more like a farm to table situation. We control, many, many different aspects of the development process and the manufacturing process. Whereas a lot of other brands, they'll either buy a product that is built for them from the ground up, or they will buy a product that is an existing formulation, or they may just buy raw materials from a company like Nasiol and use that as their ingredients in making their formulations that are available to the public or professional channels, whatever it may be. So there's a lot of difference there between what we do and what a lot of other brands do.
Cool. Nice. So are you guys distributor based? Are you online? What is your sales process look like?
So here in the US, we want to strive to be more distributor-led distribution. We do have some customers that we do direct to consumer, but that's not really our focus, not really our goal. I come from a background where I rely heavily on distribution for some of the other brands that I've worked for in the past. And to be honest with you, I think it's the better way to go. Sure, you make more profit if you're a company that sells directly to the consumer, but you also have a lot more to manage as well. The responsibility is squarely on your shoulders as a company. If you are working with great partners, great distributor partners that are helping to bring awareness of your products and help to have technical discussions with customers and be an ally, be a real partner, then everybody wins. If you're a brand that's direct to consumer, I fear that you're in competition with a lot of these distributors across the United States. So, if there are hundreds of distributors, professional distributors across the US, and you're fighting directly with each one of them because they want to be able to sell the products that they have on their shelves, well, you've created a lot more of an uphill battle in order to establish your brand and establish sales. And my approach is, let's work with these folks. Let's have a great partnership, wisely, and everybody fit from that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I know you guys have a special program designed for detailers. Do you want to highlight that a little bit?
So the program that we the people that are using our products on a regular basis, it's designed to be something where you get incentives for using Nasiol code. This is something that you can participate in through your distributor. It is not something that you have to boost it directly. And we're trying to make sure that with our customers and our distributors are all in alignment with us working together to participate together in growth. So Pro Club is one of the biggest benefits is obviously a discount. You know, right now, all of our products are available at retail pricing. Anybody can buy those without being a member of Pro Club. But the big benefit there is that you will get pricing that is more in line with what you should pay as a professional installer who uses our products on a regular basis. So discounts are anywhere from, we'll say, 25% to 40+% on the products that we offer if you are a member of Pro Club. If you want to be a member of Pro Club, you just have to show us that you've been buying Nasiol products. We have a great relationship with our distributors. They offer all of those products to Pro Club members at Pro Club pricing. So it's a great way for us to all work together to benefit the detailing industry.
So do you guys have certifications for certain products, or are all your products based on the assumption that detailers already know what they're doing?
So that's a great question. I would say that in the early days of ceramic coatings, it was really important to go to certification classes. I think that the technology in those early days was it produced products that required a lot of a learning curve. You really needed to go to these classes to know how to install them, to get the tips and tricks to have a successful installation, to know how to deal with high temperatures or high humidity environments.
Yeah.
You know, there's just a lot that you needed to learn from the nuanced standpoint of installing those particular coatings. As time has gone on, I think the chemistry has improved, the user experience has improved, and there's quite a few more people out there who have been installing other coatings for a long time. So I think that if you have experience with installing coatings from any brand, all you really need to know is the difference in the nuances of installing a Nasiol coating versus whatever it is that you've been installing for this number of years. So the certification process, I don't think really requires that you need to come to a class. It's not a requirement. Certainly you can benefit by coming to the training classes that we have all across the United States, but it's not really a requirement. If you've been using our products, as an example, if you've been using our products for a while now, yeah, I might be able to teach you some tips and tricks on getting a better result or a faster result or dealing with some environmental issues like high heat or high humidity. But you've already been using the products for a while, so you probably have figured out how to use them properly. And for me to require that you come to a training class just doesn't seem to be in line with what the realities of the situation are. I don't think that you need to do that.
Cool. No, that's a good answer, because a lot of people ask that question. They're like, I want to be able to get in and use a product and try it, but I don't want to necessarily go to a training to be able to do that. So how many lines do you guys have that are separate? Are you like automotive, boat, you know, ATV? What do you guys have as far as specialty lines of coatings?
So the short answer is 4. Within the lineup, we have Nasiol for the automotive line. So that's traditionally what we're going to be working with here in the US as detailers. We also have a marine line that's very complete. The differences there are the marine line for us means that they're designed for a saltwater environment. If you're in a freshwater environment where the boat is going to be pulled in and out of the water on a frequent basis, if you're trailering to the lake or the river or something like that, the automotive coatings are going to work just fine. If you are keeping your boat on a dock or in a slip, if you're dealing with saltwater environments, then the marine products are a better choice for you. They have anti-fouling properties to keep the hull in better shape. They do better with UV and salt exposure for corrosion resistance. So that line is a lot more purpose-built for that environment. Then from there, we actually have a home care line. The home care line is something that you would use on all the different surfaces at your house. So it's a short line, only a couple of products. One product is designed for use on glass or glazed ceramic tiles and things like that. Works great on shower doors, works great on porcelain, things like your sink bowls and toilets. It does an amazing job of keeping those surfaces clean, keeping the buildup from scale, keeps that to a minimum. It just makes everything easier to clean. We also have products for fabric. So if you want to do your carpet, your upholstered furniture, it's all available to be sprayed on, and that's an easy product. And we also have a wood care product. This is for natural wood surfaces. So we have a short line that covers quite a few different surfaces there. And then last, we have this big group called industrial. Industrial is not really intended for the detailer market, but it is an option. And it is something that we do quite a few projects with. But this is where this all comes in. The smallest size is a liter size. But again, it covers all these different surfaces. We have anti-graffiti, we have anti-corrosion for bare metal. We've got lots of fabric choices. We have stuff for pavers and concrete and asphalt shingles and solar panels and all sorts of different stuff like that. But that's generally the big industrial group of products.
Nice. So, so you guys have a wide line of stuff, and I can see where a couple of years ago people would say, who are you?
Right.
I think it was about 2018 or 2019 when really the ceramic coating market just exploded. I think we counted like 40 something at SEMA that year. Yeah. It was just insane.
Now it's all PPF.
yeah, that's PPF. But like you said, it has to do with who's manufacturing, who's white labeling, who's just buying a product and reselling it and that. But do you see, and this is a loaded question because I already have my own answer, but do you see, as you stated earlier, changes in the ceramic world where it is becoming easier and less necessary to be so concerned or worried about installing?
Yeah, I think the chemistry has evolved to the point where you can get higher performance than was available previously with a much easier installation experience. So the chemistry has evolved, and I'm really glad to see that there's a lot more single layer applications out there. Nasiol's been doing it for a long time. But the days of having to go around a vehicle multiple times or to do multiple coats or to apply multiple products, layering them and stacking them, I think that's a product of chemistry from the past. I think what we're seeing now is a shift towards more single layer applications that give you all the features, advantages, and benefits of multi-layer, but making it a faster process so it's more economical for installers to do. I think that it also means that the car enthusiast, if they buy the high quality products, it makes it easier for them to get a great result. And I think that it helps to kind of, raise the bar for the entire industry. I don't think that the chemistry and those products should be reserved just for the professional market. I'm glad that the professional market has access to these products now. I think it's a huge benefit for them. But I do think that making this easier for the average enthusiast is a huge benefit as well. Not that we're trying to take away business from a professional, but if we're being really honest out there, once a enthusiast sees a YouTube video on how to do a ceramic coating, they're either inspired or they say, no, I'm going to pay somebody to do this. I know what the advantages of having my vehicle ceramic coated are going to be, but I don't want to go buy a polisher and 12 different buffing pads and 2 different compounds and polishes and spend all this time to polish my car out to install this coating. The coating is the easy part, right? It takes maybe an hour to do a coating, single layer coating job, but it's all the prep work that comes up to it. So there's a great thing about the education that we have on social media, YouTube and whatnot, is it shows all of the steps that it takes, what it takes to get a professional quality result. So some people say, yeah, I can do that. And others say, that looks awesome. I think I'm over my head here. I'm going to call a professional, have them do it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because there are the guys that, dude, they're just passionate. They're willing to jump in and learn. And, dude, they want to do it every weekend, right? And then there's other guys that, dude, they look at that and they're like, yeah, I'll pay you to do that.
Right.
That's worth my Saturday, right?
But I think that's every industry. We
Yeah,
see that
that's-
everywhere. There's
yeah.
guys that'll re-roof their own house. And I
Right.
look at that and go, no, hell no. I'm not going to get up there 90 degrees and re-roof the house.
No.
But so I think the coolest part about the industry in the last, I'm going to say 5 or 6 years, is just the advancement in the technologies. I mean, if you go back just a few years, like you were talking about, a 2-layer or a 2-step coating, it scared me. I mean, it was like, this is glue. I'm putting glue on the side of a car. And I think they had their place. It's just like wax, right? A traditional carnauba wax went away for a while, and now a lot of people are coming back to it because the technology is good and the protection is good. Not like a ceramic coating, but a ceramic coating is so versatile in my mind because, like you said, you got 4 different areas you can put ceramic coating. I mean, I was talking to a guy the other day about putting it on my granite countertops.
Yeah.
And, you know, the advantages of doing that, even in some of the other areas, I know that there was another manufacturer and they had one of their chemists was there and we were doing these tables. They were a painted table. They had a clear coat over the top of them. We put a coating on there and the people in the restaurant were complaining. They're like, stuff keeps sliding off the table. What did you guys do? So the benefits to me far outweigh the fear of doing it. But I think you're absolutely right. A lot of people see the, coating, I could wipe something on my car. Then they go watch a video and they see the process of doing a 1 or 2 step correction. And, you know, you start mentioning the word like high spots and things like that. And they're like, I'm out. So,
well, and that's the danger of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have the guy that hears about ceramic coating. Oh, I'm just going to go buy it. And they don't do any foundational prep. I mean, I had that experience with my daughter buying a window ceramic coating, and I ended up polishing down windows.
Yeah.
But Dad, it should have worked. I'm like, yeah, but there's a little bit of prep first. So
Right. You know, I think that's the one wonderful thing about, you know, even the culture, the US culture for a long time has been they crave education, right? So that's why things like YouTube have really blown up. If you take a look at what the majority of the content is, it's typically, how do I do something? And somebody showing you how to do something. And you can have these really long videos. They can have a whole playlist built of a series of different videos on how to do something. And at the end of the day, there's more education out there for people to learn how to do things. But when they actually figure out, hey, these are all the steps that I need to do. Do I really want to do that? Or am I equipped, prepared? Do I have the willpower to do this? I think that changes things. So you can have, you know, how many different YouTube videos are out there on how I made my first $1 million. That's great. It'll have millions of hits, millions of views, and all sorts of people will take in that content. So they're giving them all the secrets on how I made my first $1 million, but then it's up to you to actually do that. And that's where it all falls apart. That's where you get down to like a fraction of a % of people will actually follow that path that was laid out for them. All the secrets are spelled right out here. They're all right here. You just have to do it. I think the same thing applies here when it comes to DIY doing your own ceramic coatings. Here's all the steps that you have to do. Nope, that's it. I'm out. That's great. I'm going to pay somebody else to do it.
And I think that's one of the things about learning is, you know, traditionally there's like 4 ways of learning, right? There's seeing it, there's writing it down, there's hearing it, and then there's doing it. So much of how I made my first $1 million penny. So much of, to me, detailing and automotive reconditioning in general is hands-on. I can watch 100 videos on how to do a ceramic coating, and people will say high spots and do this and catch the light at a 45 and all that stuff. But until you're actually standing there and doing it, you don't understand when it says, oh, wait till the coating flashes. You're like, okay. You put the coating on and you're like, did it flash? What's a flash? Where did it go? I didn't see any lights. Yeah, I didn't see any lights. Nobody's naked. So the thing about that is that you have to be hands-on to do it. And I love YouTube for certain things, right? I've been a hands-on guy my whole life. I've repaired all kinds of crazy stuff, but there are certain points in times where I watch a video and somebody's showing you how to do it, and I'll go, nope, that ain't it. Nope, nope, that is totally wrong. And
Yeah.
so you have to be really careful, and that's why I appreciate people that will at least put a training out that you can attend or watch or whatever, so that you understand from the manufacturer, from the person that made the product, how to do it.
Yeah.
We've had the benefit of working with a ton of different companies on that stuff, and it's like you said, you learn. It's not just a tip or a trick, but you learn stuff about a particular coating or a particular product that you're not going to find on, most likely on YouTube. I saw one today on a forum. I love cruising through the forums and not answering them because I don't want to get involved. But there's a forum, and a guy was like, hey, how do I get a coating off of a car that someone told me there's a coating on, but I'm not sure? And I'm like, looking at some of the answers were correct. Some of the answers were absolutely correct. Other ones I'm like,
that same post.
I'm like, no, 220 grit is not the answer, dude. It's,
I did see that same
So
post.
I'm like, what are you doing?
It's 80 grit.
Some of them are
80 grit all day.
joke. Yeah. Some of them are a joke if you know that, but other times you look at it and you're like, this person's totally serious. I posted one out there once. Somebody was asking about how to get something off something, and I said, you cleanse it with fire. And I got a comment back that was telling me, well, you can't do that. The flames. I'm like, did you really think that I was serious about that? You don't catch something on fire.
That's the problem with comments and threads. Is like a lot of times you don't get the feeling of the words, right?
Yeah.
Because I may say something to you in a person, and you might go, "Oh, that's funny," but then somebody else just read it and they're like, "Oh, that was rude."
Yeah. So the next person's lighting their boat on fire to get the coating off it. So,
context is everything.
Yeah, context, baby, context.
Commas save lives.
Commas do save
let's eat
lives.
grandma.
Let's eat grandma.
Let's eat,
Yeah.
comma, grandma. So let's talk about 2025. You guys, or 2026, 2025, the end of the year. You guys just went to SEMA. Did you roll out anything new?
We did. We rolled out 2 new products. One is going to be a formula improvement. We have, for this massively huge PPF industry and wrap industry. I mean, again, going back to SEMA, these companies are popping up left and right. They have massive booths. They are doing a great job of growing and expanding the industry. It's hard to keep up, right? We know that we have a great product for the PPF industry, but it was one of the only 2-layer products that we offered. So we were able to come up with a new version of that. So it's going to be a rolling change. So PPF Guard will be a single layer application, and it will be a product that lasts for 2 years with that single layer. So that's going to be a product improvement, and it'll be a rolling change as we move forward. So I think we have some product here in the US now, but we got to roll through the existing stock first before we do that. Then we have another product that's called PPF Boost. That PPF Boost is designed as a product that can be used on coated or uncoated PPF and vinyl. And it helps to kind of restore the color, the look of the material, but also to add the hydrophobics back to that surface, whether you have a coating on it or not. So this is designed as a maintenance product that you can use every 1 to 2 months. We had a lot of questions from people. Just so you guys are familiar, we have another product that is called Rapid Shine. And Rapid Shine is a product that's designed to last up to 6 months. It's a spray-on product that enhances the look, the color, the gloss, and the hydrophobics. And it's great as a renewal product or as a standalone product. People just asked, is this the same stuff? No, it's not the same stuff. While it does share some of the great attributes where it can be applied to a wet surface or a dry surface, it's not the same stuff. Rapid Shine's good for up to 6 months. The PPF Boost is purpose-built for that, for those surfaces, and it's going to last 1 to 2 months. Totally different stuff.
Nice. And I think that that's one of the big, I wouldn't say controversies, but there's a lot of opinions about PPF and whether or not you should coat it or you should put something on it. And I can tell you firsthand, I was at a shop in Jacksonville, Florida, and a gentleman had the second wrap on his new Corvette, and he had to park it outside, and the wrap was destroyed. There was nothing on top of it, and it was etched. The bugs and just the stuff that came off in the surface environment in that particular area destroyed 2 different wraps on a car in a year. And so I'm one of those that, like, anything you can do to protect it and put another layer on top. I love some of what I consider, like, my category, I call them top coats. I know that that's not what everybody calls them, but the boosters and things like that are so helpful to just keep that coating lasting longer. It's really a unscientific test, but I've got 2 cars that have coatings on them at my house, and one of them is the one that doesn't get washed as often, and it doesn't get the top coat as often, and you can tell the difference. You can see the difference in the water spots and everything. And so my wife's car gets a ton of that stuff because I know she doesn't wash it very often. She's like, my wife is like, that's your deal. I don't wash cars. It's up to you. So there's a lot more protectant that goes on her car because it gets washed less often, but it stays nice because when I do, I use the enhancers and everything and make sure that I keep the maintenance on that coating. And I think that that's one of the biggest challenges people have in the enthusiast and in the professional. The professionals understand it. You need to do maintenance on that coating. I think the enthusiasts haven't caught on to that yet. It's like, I put a coating on my car, I can do anything.
It's bulletproof.
I can go through the car wash. And they'll be like, hey man, my car's all scratched up. And you're like, yeah, because you're not maintaining that coating. It's like the paint on your house. It's only going to last so long. And if you don't put something on it, I'll give you your 5th industry you should go into, because it started here in Idaho. We have really extreme temperatures. So in the world of roofs, you have this new industry that popped up where they spray a coating on your roof to elongate the warranty and the life of your roof. Most roofs 25 years. And they'll spray this stuff on, and they guarantee you, I don't know, it's like 4 or 5 extra years because of this coating. It's no different than in the automotive world, right? You're maintaining something that you've already put on there, and you have to follow that maintenance schedule. It's one of those things where maintenance is super important, and a lot of people bypass it, but I think it's super important with coatings because they're going to get clogged up. They're going to get bee poop on them. In Idaho, we get bee poop. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen. Water spots, hard water, just chemicals, just the debris that falls out of the sky when it rains is just harsh metals, and just, there's nasty stuff. Everything in the world is trying to destroy the paint on your car. From the person next to you slamming the door into it.
And you act like it's Armageddon.
It is. It's Armageddon. It's paint Armageddon.
Everything's dying.
Well, and
that's why there's companies like Nasiol and other brands that are trying to help you elongate.
It's Rod versus the world.
We had a
We're here to help.
From Mike's Marine Care, and he wants to get a hold of you, Jeremy. Mike's Marine Care, he's like the boat whispering pirate.
He is the boat whispering pirate that drives
he's the boat racer,
miles an hour.
So he's in a harsh environment for boats, but he's a magician. He really is. And I've personally witnessed some of the stuff that Mike's done with rotary that people wouldn't attempt with a DA.
He's really
good. That's the kind of environment I see these kind of products really thriving in, is, the marine environment where people have these boats that make a Ferrari look cheap. And, and they're out in the water, they're getting bashed, their Armageddon's getting hit every day.
Going through the Miami.
That's right.
I would love to work with Mike. I'm happy to connect after the show. But you made a comment of, the roofing industry is the next thing for Nasiol.
Yeah.
We already make that product.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Because
all right, come spray my roof. I just put a brand new one on there, Jeremy.
This is honestly not to be a salesman. This is the time you do it, because as you know, it's like doing a used car versus a brand new car. It's a lot easier and more beneficial on a surface that doesn't have age and wear and tear on it. So you're going to really prolong the life of any of those brand new surfaces versus one that's got some age to it. So
yeah, brand new, baby.
And that's the thing is, I don't think when you look at things that you spend money on personally, your home, obviously one of the biggest expenses you'll ever have.
Tell me about
unless you buy one of those Ferrari boats. And then the roof on your home is like the second most expensive thing in your house is the roof.
Yeah.
And so you want to protect that. But I think more so than anything, when you look at that and you go back down into the enthusiast market, it's like it all just kind of flows downhill to how much you want to protect anything, the concrete surfaces and everything. I started using a concrete.
You have something for concrete?
They do.
I just
they
did
do.
a patio.
Yeah, they do. And I've used some concrete surfaces, and it is
all right, we got a
not even a question. So. Unparalleled. One of the best things you can do. Oil stains, antifreeze, all that stuff just bubbles out. The concrete coatings are great because it's a porous surface.
Oh yeah,
it absorbs. It soaks it in really
everything,
well. So.
And I'm like, yeah.
It's incredible how many detailers have realized that you can coat other surfaces around the house, or if other surfaces from a commercial environment. You know, I was talking to somebody recently about the commercial real estate applications of ceramic coatings. Yeah. And I said, you know, imagine that you're a property manager and you have, you're managing a high-rise building. So all glass exterior, you have to hire crews to come in and do the window washing. If you're in a high-rise or something like that, it's exceedingly expensive to do that. You have to hire crews that have massive insurance bonds, that have to pay massive premiums. You have to pay the people, hazard pay. You have to pay for permits for doing all of this. Yeah. Now, if you're doing this on a frequent basis, imagine how quickly that adds up just to clean the glass. Yeah. If you have a ceramic coated surface, something that delays deformation of, you know, debris, grime, makes all these things easier to clean, or delays that maintenance schedule so that you have to do it less frequently. Imagine what that does for cost savings. Not only what it does for cost savings there, but the appearance of those surfaces when you're looking out them, or if you're looking up at them from the street level. There's a pretty big difference there. So just that thing alone. Now imagine maybe you own a hotel chain, and you have labor that has to go into the hotel rooms every single day and clean up after guests. Things like cleaning up after, you know, soap scum and mineral deposits from hard water and things like that becomes so much easier on coated surfaces. You have less chemicals. The chemicals are easier on your body because they don't have to be the extreme things like CLR or, you know, these very caustic materials or acidic materials that dissolve these mineral deposits and soap scum and everything else. From a maintenance perspective, it just makes their jobs a lot easier, and it makes it safer, and it's lower cost for you. So that helps a lot with your maintenance. We don't think about that as homeowners or detailers, but those are some of those applications that are real and practical and have a big economic impact, especially when you scale it up. You know, imagine how much labor a hotel chain would have with, you know, thousands and thousands of rooms that have to get turned every day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I think that's one of those things. It's always this time of the year when you start seeing the posts of, you know, hey, what do you guys do in the winter to stay busy? I've got a full week. Homes and other applications are the key. I would be here in Idaho, like I said, we get extremes.
CBH homes,
100, 110 degrees in the summer and negative in the winter. I would be inside of homes in the winter coating countertops and shower doors and couches and carpets and windows on the inside and the outside. That is where you make your switch to doing the same thing but in a different vertical market. Yeah. And that's also smart from a business perspective, is you don't have all your eggs in one basket. If you're doing homes and cars and boats, you're looking at 3 different time frames when those things are popular, right? Yeah. Mike is about to get super busy wrapping boats.
Yes, he is.
Race season's over, buddy. Time to go to work.
Time to go to work, man.
So but that's what I would do. That's what I would do, is do some of that stuff. So what is what do you see as the biggest advantage to products that you guys have that people are not taking advantage of?
So obviously we have the time savings, right? Single layer application, one bottle to get around the entire vehicle. There's a huge time savings advantage there. The performance is something that we try to under promise and over deliver. So if you take a look at the durability claims that we have and performance claims that we have on all of our packaging, they're actually about half of what the lab testing actually gives us for the real results in a lab. So knowing that these products are available to anybody who wants to buy them, whether they're retail or professional, we know that there's a range of skill level of people who are going to install them properly or maybe make some mistakes.
Yep.
And what we wanted to do was make sure that we protect our brand image and our product, the product's reputation. So a product that we have that says maybe it's a 3-year product, that's a 3-year product. If you just install it and never do maintenance on it, you're not required to do annual maintenance plans with these products. But if you do an annual maintenance plan, if you do properly decontaminate every year and maybe do a topper, it's easy to get 7 years out of that 3-year coating. So we really want to protect you. If you're a professional installer, we want to protect you and your reputation by making sure that you have something that way delivers more than what the claims are on the bottle. We don't want to say under perfect conditions, you're going to get 3 years out of it. We kind of go the other route and say, even if you jack this up, 3 years later, it's going to be on that surface. It'll be stained. You'll have your bird droppings, your bee droppings, apparently, which are big in your market, tree sap, mineral deposits, all that sort of stuff will be on there. It'll probably be clogged. It may not be hydrophobic anymore if you really haven't taken care of it, but the paint underneath will have been protected this entire period of time. So that really is what we're trying to preserve, is the original surface, the original paint under there, and it will have done its job. If you have done the maintenance, that car will still be standing tall, looking great, and easy to maintain, 3 years down the road, easily.
And I think
another pivot that I'd like to talk about, you talked about like winter season, right? Make a pivot to what you do in the winter for, keeping the lights on or, keeping food on the table. When I was a kid and I was running my detail business, my pivot was I went to go work at the local ski area and worked in the kitchen. So, I mean, I was completely out of detailing at that point. But now, having that experience many years ago, one thing that we were able to bake into the Nasiol Pro Club program is we actually have a system that you can put a warranty, an insurance company backed warranty, onto our program. You can buy our products. You can buy the warranty separately. It's not included in the price of a bottle. It's something that you would do separately. But this is also born from the dealership F&I departments. So this is baked right into their software. We can basically give a dealership the code to get onto the program. And what that means for you as a detail shop is you can start to work directly with a new car dealer in order to do their ceramic coating work. To kind of open a bag of worms here. We know that the detail industry and the dealership industry, what their expectations for ceramic coating are not in alignment. I think that's a nice way of saying it, right?
Yes.
So what if you can offer them a true high performance professional ceramic coating done by a professional installer, which is you, and be able to do this during the wintertime on brand new vehicles that customers have already paid for. So what we have done with Pro Club is to start to develop a network of professional installers that now have the capability to market themselves directly to their local dealership and be able to keep the lights on, keep doing the detail work all winter long. You'll probably be doing it for a reduced rate. Maybe you're not making what you normally would for retail. But also keep in mind, you're going to be getting brand new cars from the dealership that you may spend 3 or 4 hours in total doing the work on. And that means that you're going to be able to keep the business going and also maybe get some repeat customers that are going to come back for annual maintenance. Although it's not required on our program, getting repeat business is obviously the way to go. It's a lot less expensive to keep a customer coming back to you than it is to find a new customer and develop them into a repeat customer. So if you are getting dealership work, they are coming to you, that means that you're likely to be able to tap back into them for maintenance programs, or even have them come to you for other ceramic coating programs for friends and families when they get new vehicles. So
Yeah,
being in
sure.
front of people makes a big difference.
So we have a really good question here. This is
Juice free. If
Juice
it's a
free.
daily driver, even with the proper wash techniques, won't it be swirled way before the coating fails?
Potentially, you know, it depends on a lot of different factors. If you're going to use something that has like a surface hardness, we'll say like a 7H. 7H is still going to be, you know, roughly 2-ish times harder than your factory paint will be. So it's going to be a lot more scratch resistant, but it's not scratch proof. If you get into 9H, 10H coatings, kind of where our professional grade coatings live, now you're 3 to 4 times more scratch resistant. So you do have a lot more ability to withstand some abrasion through the standard washing process and things like that. But it's going to be a lot harder to scratch than it is from a non-coated surface. So the wonderful thing about the 9 and 10H type coatings are you can typically polish those, and you know, they're very scratch resistant. I know that's kind of taboo to talk about as detailers, is ceramic coatings being scratch resistant, because we always want to talk about PPF as the true, you know, stone chip impact resistant thing, as the scratch resistance when it comes to, you know, maybe a vehicle on vehicle type of rubbing action. You know, there's a lot more protection available through PPF. There's no dispute about that. But when you get into really good quality ceramic coatings, it absolutely helps to mitigate some of that damage as well.
Yeah, and I think the key word in that question is proper wash techniques.
Yeah.
Even if you're using, if you take an uncoated car and you use the right, like I'm going to use rinseless wash and the proper sponge and the right drying towels and everything, you're going to get some micro marring.
For sure.
I have a car that is a non-metallic. It's one of those flat type of paints. It's not flat, it's shiny, but there's zero metallic in it. That thing scratches by looking at it.
Mhm.
It's because you're picking up, because there's no metallic in there to catch light and refract light for your eyes, everything on the surface you see, everything.
Right.
And so even with a coating on it, I think I have a 7H coating on that one. And I wash it with, I've used the same rinseless. The company that I use has, it's like their 6th different rendition of this wash list. I use the sponge they recommend. I use really good drying towels. There's still some areas that get some light, they're not they're micro marring or micro scratching. Yeah, it's going to get it. You can't, unless you take your car and park it inside of a hermetically sealed shop, temperature controlled, and never drive it, there's going to be scratches on it. That's just how it's going to be. It's just,
bubble boy.
So yeah,
right?
absolutely.
You know, there's no way to avoid that completely, but by doing some type of protection, whether it's a ceramic coating or PPF, you know, that's really what's going to protect the paint that's underneath it. So the coating, luckily, is going to take the damage. The PPF will take the damage. What's going to be protected is the paint that's underneath. So when those things are removed, your paint will be still preserved and protected underneath. And that's one of the huge advantages of adding protection to your paint.
Yeah, and I think that's the real goal, right? And I think a lot of times we get so involved in selling the benefits of the ceramic coating that we're not really recognizing that it's a sacrificial layer.
Exactly.
And that's really what it is, right? So.
Yeah, and I would tell everybody, I always encourage people, I'm like, get a depth gauge, get a paint gauge, and do it in a specific area before you put the coating on, after and before you're doing your polishing. And then after you put the coating on and it's cured, do it again. And then keep your eye on that area every time you're doing maintenance. You're going to watch it start to diminish.
Yeah.
It just naturally diminishes over time. And that kind of, thanks, Dave.
Dave Myers, man.
So that is what the coating is for.
Yeah.
That diminishing of that coating and that breaking down of those layers. If you don't have a coating, you're going to see that on the paint. You're going to see the paint getting worse and worse and worse. So Absolutely. Even PPF. And I will tell you firsthand, PPF does not stop a rock this big. It will not stop it. It goes right through the PPF and damages the body. But it is a great surface protection for light scratches and light rocks. So
especially here in Idaho.
In Idaho, you're going to get hit with boulders.
Season, baby.
It's horrible. So,
well, Jeremy, man, this has been such a great conversation. I think, you guys are coming on strong. People are starting to know more who you guys are and what you bring to the table. I appreciate you taking the time to visit with us this morning. I know Mike Marine Care wants to get hold of you. Dave Myers gave you a huge shout out. Nasiol and Jeremy are the best. And then our friend Mike Marine Care, I didn't realize a paint gauge would notice the coating.
It should, because the paint gauge is taking everything from the surface down to the substrate.
Yeah.
So one thing to note about the paint gauge is most of the time you're probably not going to see a difference there. Because the materials with ceramic coatings are designed more like a rebar, like a reinforcing agent for your paints, than they are like a true replacement for like your concrete patio, right? So you're not going to see that. You're not going to see that big depth change there. You probably won't see any change unless you get pretty granular, really fine with your data.
And just as a caveat there, I'll tell people that I'm a little bit insane. So like I have a piece of steel outside of my shop laying on the ground, and I've got it sectioned off, and I will check different areas of it and just literally throw it on the ground and leave it out there all winter long, and then bring it back in the summer, put it out in the sun. One of the tests we did this on was the hood of a gentleman with Ask Rain Albertson. He put a coating on his hood of his BMW like 7 years ago, and he layered it so thick. It looks horrible. It's the biggest high spot you've ever seen, but he uses it as a test spot to watch that diminish off.
Yeah.
So yes, absolutely. You're not going to see that on your everyday one-step coating, but if you put a coating on something and you check it over time, if it's thicker like that as a test to your own materials. And I like doing that just because, I mean, I love the coating companies and all this stuff, but a lot of times you're going to get advertisement. You're not going to get true measurements. So if you take a piece of metal or a piece of fiberglass or a substrate and put a couple of coatings on it and throw it out for the winter.
Yeah, in the collision industry, they'll call that like a letdown panel. You'll see like the base material, then you'll see the base material plus primer, then plus sealer, and so on and so forth until you have like a final finished. And that way you're going to see all those steps and how they're kind of impacted by a lot of different things like UV exposure and just even being able to see like the repair process and seeing what is all really underneath this shiny metal or this shiny paint. But yeah, that's a great way to do a comparison. So yeah, we always love those tests.
And I use my forehead for some of those too, Mike. So if you want to take a rotary and polish my head and put some coating on there, it's, we'll see which one coats my brain the best.
Yeah, that's crazy. So anyway, Jeremy, thank you so much for taking the time to visit with us. It's always fun to learn and to grow. It's awesome. So thank you very much, guys. If you want to connect with Jeremy, it is Jeremy Harding. He's a national sales manager. Jeremy at Artekia. And you can connect with him on Facebook as well, and he'll be glad to help you. So thank you so much.
Jody, Rod, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, anytime. So next week we have a couple of special guests lined up. I think we're trying to solidify that.
I don't know. I just know that Monday I'm heading to Nashville to do some detailers of the roundtable training, recording. So I'll be gone Monday through Wednesday, hitting the ground with whatever Rod has planned on Thursday. And it'll be fun. So anyway.
It's always a challenge when the reins are turned over. Oh, absolutely, Mike.
I'll be here.
Right here. You Mike. Just polish it up. You got to be careful though. You can't remove too much material.
That's right. Well, you
guys
have a great day.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.